Okay, you guys, let's talk about accuracy. One thing people don't understand is that if you have ballistics gel and you're trying to see which ammo gives you the most penetration and expansion, and that would be best in your gun, a lot of times people don't consider the accuracy of the ammo. The very first thing in a handgun that you want as far as choosing defensive ammo is to make sure that all these different ammo types cycle in your gun reliably. And that could mean using maybe 2 or 3 20 box rounds. As you get a little bit more money, you buy more and you run it through your gun, making sure it's going to work. The second thing, in my opinion, is accuracy of the round. And this is two types of accuracy. One is bench rest, where you shoot the gun and you have it somewhat propped, semi bench rest type. And you shoot 3 shots, say like at 15 yards, for example, and you see which ammo is going to give you the best group. And what I got for you here is just showing you an example of how things can get if you're choosing ammo just based on penetration and expansion and you forget about accuracy. So let's choose number 1 here and talk about it. Let's say that your 147 grain is giving you 1-inch groups at let's say 5 yards. If that's true, then the law of doubles shows us that as you increase 5 yards at a time, by the time you get out to 20 yards, you're at 4 inches. And 4 inches, to me, is the combat accuracy standard because of the fact that it's the size of a heart. And if you guys know anything about the heart, it's a much faster drop in blood pressure hitting the heart than it is clipping arteries and different things like that. You have a better chance of drop in blood pressure faster if the heart is hit. And we're not discussing the spine or the brain right now. We're just focusing on combat accuracy as far as center of mass, because within center of mass, there's a lot of places that are not optimum to stop the attacker because the blood pressure, even though it's low and even though it's starting to drop, the heart is the fastest way to drop that blood pressure and deprive that oxygen to the brain. So to me, combat accuracy is 4 inches. Even though a lot of you guys are shooting big targets, 8 inches or whatever, in my opinion, 4 inches is what you want to strive for as far as accuracy. So the 147 grain Hydroshock, let's say that we're getting at 20 yards, we're getting 4 inches. Well, you're still hitting the heart. You're still being able to drop that blood pressure. Let's move over to the 124 grain. This is a Ultimate Defense Remington 124 grain. And you guys have to understand, this is just a sample. I'm not saying that the accuracy is what these are. Here, I'm just demonstrating, just for demonstrating purposes. I'm making them wider purposely. The 124 grain, if we have 2-inch accuracy at 5 yards, by the time we get to 20 yards, look what we got. We got 8 inches. So the accuracy of this one is twice as good as this one. And this one here, we could potentially miss vital organs and the heart and stuff like that because our group is much larger. And the way to test any gun is by doing a 3 to 5 shot group to find out how accurate is that weapon. But not only bench rest, you actually shooting it, because there's going to be recoil. So you want to shoot 3 shots standing, managing recoil to see what kind of accuracy you get. And then you want to do bench rest also. And you want to go by them 2 things to determine what is the most accurate ammunition that you're going to use in your firearm. Okay, let's go to this one here, 115 grain. This one is called American Gunner, 115 grain. And let's say that at 5 yards, you're getting 3-inch groups. Then at 10 yards, you're getting 6 inches. So what you're doing is you could potentially miss the heart because it's starting to get much wider in groups. So every time you fire a shot, you're going to be wider. And I'm not saying that you're going to be in a combat situation that you're going to be slow firing. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that a lot of times slow fire gives you an idea of what your potential could be if you were perfect and you had to fire fast. So once again, the 115 grain is falling out of combat accuracy within 10 yards. And the further and further you go, for instance, if you go to 20 yards, look at this. This is a foot wide. You're running a foot wide. There's a lot of places you can miss as far as vital spots and stuff on the human body with that. Now, I'm not bashing ballistics gel people that do tests with penetration and expansion. That's all good and dandy. But the fact remains is that if you do not have an accurate round that you shoot in your gun, and you're not willing to pay the extra price for that accuracy, then when there comes a situation where you're in trouble and you need to shoot back, or you need to save a life of a loved one or people that you're responsible for, I don't want to be shooting a 12-inch group at 20 yards, and I don't think any of you would want to do that either. I would want something that shoots a 4-inch group at 20 yards that I can rapid fire, and I'm confident that I'm going to hit something that's going to stop the attack. And this is why, in my order, the very first thing is the firearm has to cycle the ammunition. It has to be accurate ammunition, and then you can talk about your expansion and penetration. But the one thing that's always left out is the accuracy at bench rest and the accuracy that you have when you fire the weapon 3 times at a target, or 5, or whatever you do for your test. Getting back to accuracy is critical, because a lot of shooters that have done trick shots and exhibition, I can't even say the word, exhibition shooters would always pick the most accurate rounds that they could if they were shooting live rounds. They don't pick ammo like this that is going to shoot wide groups and isn't going to be accurate. They always go for the top-notch ammo so that they can hit their target. And same thing with you and me. We want to be picky as far as accuracy, because if you ask any deer hunter or you ask any sniper, is it bad having accuracy? You know, is it? I've never heard of anybody complain about having too much accuracy. And once again, it's debatable, you know, what center of mass is, but I'm just saying within center of mass, your 6 or 8 inch steel target that you shoot and clang around on the range, within center of mass, there are still places outside of the heart area, like your arteries and stuff like that, where you could just clip, like say like an artery, or you could hit something that's not a vital organ. So you want to focus on hitting a smaller target, which is the heart. And if you practice hitting something small like this, and that's your norm, and then speeding it up a bit, like Robert Keller was saying, or Bob Keller was talking about from Special Ops, he was saying that if a 4-inch target or a circular target that's small, if that's your norm every time for shooting fast, then when you have a bigger target, it makes sense that it's not going to be as hard to hit, because you're so used to being fast on a smaller area that once you move up to, say, like a bigger target, it's not going to surprise you if you have to defend yourself, because your mindset is already focused on getting the best shot you can at 5 yards or 10 yards or whatever you're doing. So to me, combat accuracy is 4 inches where the heart is. And we're not talking about the brain today or the spine or anything else. I'm just pretty much focusing on center of mass targets and how sometimes they're overrated, the paper or the steel ones, where people just blast a bunch of rounds and nobody's hitting. Well, some people can hit it, but you'll see people where they'll shoot and they'll have rounds like all over here, But then if you would put a sticker on there or something or drew in the heart, you would find that the heart was not being hit. And that's the thing you have to understand is if the blood pressure doesn't come down, then that person can still be active and attack. Even if they do get even if they do get hit in the heart, there is still time for that oxygen that's going to the brain to still remain active until it reaches the end of the line. So it's bad enough, it's bad enough hitting the right spot and still having that person still respond and do something. But if you're shooting out of the heart zone, it's worse because you're not dropping that blood pressure. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm going to show you each round here, close-up of it so you can see it too. So what we have here, we have the 147 grain Hydroshock. Now I don't know if you guys are going to see this very clearly or not, probably not, but I'll try. 124 grain Remington, and this is Ultimate Defense. This one here, Ultimate Defense. And the last one here is Hornady XTP, 115 grain. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, but for me, I want maximum accuracy because I want to hit my target. If you ever get in a defensive situation, you have to understand that if you're going to have to save a life, you want accuracy to work in your favor. I'm not willing to put up with a 12-inch group at 20 yards. I want a 4-inch group. So I want to make sure that I save a life, because if you take the shot and you don't hit the person in the right spot, like down here, the 12-inch group, what could happen is that person can still kill people or it can still return fire. So I want to be a responsible person and make sure that I have accurate ammunition so that if I'm out in public, I know I can hit what I'm aiming at. And I know I can save a life because I've done all my research to make sure I have the best functioning ammo and the most accurate ammo that I can get first. Then worry about your expansion and penetration. If you do get a round that has good expansion and penetration that makes good groups, then that's good. But don't make expansion and penetration your top priority. Thank you for watching.